Welcome to Use Your Voice to Shape the Future, a video series from WA-SEN, Washington Student Engagement Networks. Testify in a committee hearing walks you through the steps to plan and deliver effective testimony to state legislators. You can give verbal testimony in two ways: in person or remotely. This framework works for either way. This video builds on the first two videos in this series. Get ready to use your voice and submit written testimony. Our fourth video will walk you through the legislative website, where you'll learn how to research bills and committee hearing schedules and then register to testify. The first step is to know your issue. Whether you plan to testify in person or remotely, it's important to do your research. What is the issue that matters to you? Has a bill been proposed that relates to your issue? If the answer is yes, there are 4 things you'll need to know: the number of the bill you want to testify on, what is proposed, which committee is discussing it, and when they are going to hold a public hearing on it. In the course of your reading, you should review the bill text, committee summaries, and related reports to understand the context. In our fourth video, we'll walk through the legislative website where you can find us. WA-SEN is also a great resource. If you've never attended a hearing before, this is a good time to watch a video of a real hearing. TVW Web Services publishes videos of public hearings on the legislative website, so there are lots of opportunities to see what public testimony looks and sounds like. There are 2 ways to find these videos. You can start by looking up a committee on a legislative website and find all the videos from their hearings. Or you can look up a specific bill and watch videos of hearings where it was discussed. The next step is to plan your testimony. You want to keep your words clear, concise, and focused. Let's walk through a simple framework to share your point of view on a topic. It has 4 parts. Download a worksheet with this framework and sample testimony on the WA-SEN website. 1. Introduce yourself. Start with your name, where you go to school, and a brief statement about why the issue matters to you. 2. State your position. Clearly state whether you support or oppose the bill and why. 3. Share your story. Include a personal experience or perspective that illustrates why this bill matters. Legislators appreciate hearing real-life impacts. And 4. Conclude with a request. Tell the committee or legislators what you would like for them to do. If you watched the previous video in this series, submit written testimony. This framework will look familiar. It's the same one used for written testimony. If you have not watched that video, go back and review the example of how a student used the framework to draft her testimony. With your testimony drafted, you are ready to register to testify using the legislative website. Registration closes 1 hour before the committee meeting starts. You will have 2 choices. I would like to testify in person during the hearing, or I would like to testify remotely. Be aware that even if you choose to testify in person, you will still receive a Zoom link in the confirmation email. This is not an error, and you should not change your plans as a result. If you register to testify in person, you are expected to be there. You should only use the Zoom link as a backup if an emergency prevents you from attending. Be sure to mark your calendar. You are about to play an important role in the legislative process. You will help guide legislators as they make decisions that affect our universities and communities. Whether you travel to Olympia or testify from your laptop, your next step is to practice your testimony. Here's why. The legislative website specifically says, written testimony should not be read at committee hearings. Writing your comments in outline form will be helpful when you speak, and you should summarize your written testimony. That means you will need to rehearse your testimony ahead of time, so the words flow naturally and confidently without reading them. Practice with a buddy or record and critique yourself. The day before the hearing, think about what you are going to wear. Don't wear anything that distracts from your message. If you are testifying remotely, test your camera and mic. Check your background. It cannot include campaign-related or offensive content, and you should make sure it's not distracting. Once the hearing begins, here's what you need to do. First, pay attention to the entire hearing and listen carefully. Maintain proper protocol. Don't interrupt, cheer, or boo other speakers. If you are testifying in person, be ready to move to the microphone when called. Don't speak until you have been acknowledged by the chair. Speak directly into the microphone so your testimony can be recorded. If you are testifying remotely, be ready to be called. Your mic will be made live when it's time to speak. Think about your body language and how you come across. Sit up straight, make eye contact, and don't fidget. After your remarks, pause to see if there are questions or comments from the committee members. Be honest and say, "I don't know," if you don't know the answer. If you can get additional information, tell them you will follow up with a written answer. Testifying makes a powerful statement. There are 3 more things you can do to have greater impact on this issue. First, when you travel to Olympia to testify, use your visit to meet with other legislators. Make appointments with the elected officials from your district. They will be glad to see you. Bring a printed copy of your testimony to leave with them. Second, if you testified remotely or you were not able to meet with your elected officials, email them a copy of your testimony. And third, share your testimony with other students. Teach them how to make their voices heard. You have a new, remarkable skill to share. Thanks for watching Testify in a Committee Hearing. You now know what homework is required, how long your testimony should be, what to include, and how to register. You know you should not read your testimony, so you need to practice it ahead of time. You know ways to look and sound your best, and you know to share your message with elected officials and friends. Visit WA-SEN.org to explore additional resources and watch the rest of the Use Your Voice to Shape the Future series.